Welcome. Hi, my name is 𝑯𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒅. I am the Strategic Communications Manager here at the Vigo County Public Library, and we're so happy to have Stephanie with us today. And she's going to be talking about how she turned her business, Hallie Hound Barkery, from a hobby into a business. And so thank you, Stephanie, for being with us today, and I'm so excited to learn more about your business.
It's been a wild ride over the last 14 years, so it's exciting to kind of share the story and hopefully maybe encourage somebody else to take that step out there and start their own business.
All right, so some of the people that are on the call, they may not understand what a barkery is necessarily. So can you talk to us a little bit more about, how you started the company from the hobby and then now turning it to a business and actually what it actually is that you do?
Sure. So in 2007, around the Christmas holidays, for gifts and stuff, I decided to make dog treats. It was very popular with family and friends, and then right after that in 2008, the beginning of the year, was a big pet food scare. There was a ton of pet food products and treats that were tainted with salmonella and other foreign objects that were found in pet food. So a lot of people were starting to ask me, can you make more treats? I feel like they're safer. And it just spiraled out of control at that stage, because it was one of those things of, okay, this is obviously there's a need, and I wanted to learn more of how to actually make it a business and make money off of it. So by April of that year, I had launched a basic website and started researching recipes and found, my base recipes, and then started to do a lot of tweaking and stuff. So what it is pretty much I make all natural dog and cat treats. I have 10 base recipes that I use for our 10 most popular flavors. And then we also have one cat recipe as well. When I started out, we were displaying product on plates at shows. If you're a current customer now, you know that when we do farmers market and stuff, we have big glass candy jars, and our game has stepped up a lot in the last 14 years. But in the beginning, it was very basic. It was a tablecloth and 10 plates, and we let you pick which flavor you wanted and weighed it out and put it in a paper bag and called it good. When I started out, I learned very quickly, pet food industry is not like the restaurant industry. We are not regulated by the health department. We are regulated by the Indiana State Chemist Office. So we have our own licensing and certifications that we have to follow. So I laugh every year, that's my $550 piece of paper that I have to get from the state. And then our products are sent to a lab in New Jersey to guarantee that they're the best product. You'll see people out there doing fundraising events that are like, oh, I'm going to make these dog treats and sell them for the Humane Society. They're probably not licensed unless they follow all the regulations and the labeling regulations that we all have to abide by. The industry has become very strict in the last few years because of so many issues with major companies, and it's trickled down to all the specialty pet food companies too. So it's kind of interesting. I've got some treats with us. I don't know if you can see on the back of each treat. We have specific labeling that we have to do for the state. So it has to have the product name, all the ingredients listed in order by what has the most amount of ingredient. Then we have to do a guaranteed analysis. This is how you really know if somebody is a certified pet treat manufacturer. And it tells you what is required, which is like the crude protein, crude fat, crude fiber, and the moisture content in all the treats. We also have to put on there that this is a treat. It's not the dog food. It's not their full meal. We have to put if it's for dog, cat, goat, whatever, our address, the weight, and then our website, so we can be contacted quickly if there are any issues. Some companies pay extra to have organic certifications. Others may also do calorie count. That's another cost. So it's one of those things we do what's required and don't necessarily spend on some of the extra stuff because we are a small business.
That is fantastic. So I have a couple of follow-up questions to that. So in the beginning, you're talking about when all of this started, you started as Christmas gifts, and your family came to you to ask you to make those. And so I'm curious, were you a baker before?
I was a human baker.
That's a human baker.
I've always loved to bake. It's always been a thing in my family, except for my grandmother to my mom and stuff. We've always spent time in the kitchen and stuff. And then it was just one of those things that I've always had a deep passion for animals too. You know, it's like in high school and stuff, I kind of interned at a vet's office and stuff. And it's like, there's a difference in loving animals and caring for animals. And I love animals. It's very hard to separate that caring part, like when you work in a situation like a vet's office. But this gave me an opportunity to do something that I was good at with my hands, be a side business, still hang on to that love of animals that I had. Last year, the U.S. pet industry was a $99 billion industry.
Wow.
And that covers everything from your vet's offices to your groomers to your pet fashion designers to treat and food manufacturers. It's grown so much because, I mean, like some people in our generation, they've chosen not to have children. They have pets, and they treat them as their children. So doggy daycare and stuff like that is a huge growth in the industry as well. So yeah, it was one of those things. Yeah, I went from making chocolate chip cookies to pet cookies. So
That's fantastic. So talk to me a little bit about the name, Hallie Hound Barkery. Talk to me a little bit about Hallie and how she was the namesake for this organization.
So Hallie was a rescue dog from Illinois. Found her under a trailer and she was covered in dirt and her hair was matted with bubble gum.
Oh
So
my
she
gosh.
was quite the mess when I found her. I asked the people what they were going to do, if they were going to take care of her or whatever. The situation like that, I assumed that was probably a no. And they were actually trying to get rid of the pups at that stage. There was 3 others along with her that I wish I would have been able to take, but couldn't at the time. Hallie reminded me of another dog that I had in 8th grade, like similar black and white features and stuff. And it was just one of those kind of meant to be things. Turns out she was 𝑯𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒆. So she was short.
What a combination.
She was short, long, and round. Had the huge basset voice. So I always laugh. Our FedEx guy thought we had this huge dog until I introduced him to Hallie, and then he realized it was just her bark. So,
Yes.
but she was just one of those dogs that kind of came into my life, and it was like when all this was happening with the treats and stuff, it was like, why not name it after her? Because she was the recipient of all the product fails at that stage.
Yes.
So
So she was your formal taste tester.
she was the taste tester. We laughed. She was the chief canine officer, in the beginning and stuff. And then 2 years later, we adopted Guido from the Humane Society. So then she had a taste testing buddy.
Yes.
But yeah, it was one of those things. It was kind of like it just seemed right for her to be the namesake. And she lived to be 12, so I lost her 2 years ago. And it was funny, when I was doing my grad school presentation on the business, somebody had asked, well, what's going to happen when Hallie dies? And I'm like, the business is going to go on.
Sure.
That's she's the namesake. And so that's kind of how I keep her memory alive, is she gets to spoil pets all over the US and really all over the world, where we've sent our treats and stuff. So, it's kind of this cool thing that she's never really going to be gone.
That's right. So you said all over the world.
Yeah.
So talk to me about your international
So,
sales.
so we ship to the US and Canada. But we have been very fortunate to work with some groups that have sent treats to Afghanistan to military police dogs.
Wow.
So we've shipped there, or we've gone through organizations that have shipped to the troops and sent treats there. We have had treats that were purchased in the US and then taken to France. We have quite a few customers in Canada and stuff. So it's kind of like we know that our treats have gotten out. We have a really good rapport with several police departments and fire departments across the US that have dogs and stuff. They're either arson dogs or canine officers and stuff like that. So it's been kind of neat to meet people over time over that. But
absolutely,
yeah, it was really cool when we got hooked up and started sending treats, with the care packages to the troops to Afghanistan and stuff. So
that is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for doing that too.
Yeah,
That's a great
it's
partnership.
been kind of fun because it gives us exposure, but we're also back too,
Absolutely.
so.
Yes.
And we try and find other ways in the community, whether it's donating gift baskets. We've raised some funds for canine dogs before in the community. If there's little things that we can do to help that are tied to the pet industry and stuff, we try to.
That's
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
And so I can attest to your product because my dog has been the lucky recipient because I visit the farmer's market and I've tried your products before, and my dog has a lot of food allergies. So can you talk a little bit about the products that you use and how dogs with multiple food allergies can still enjoy your product.
Sure. So the nice thing about making our products from scratch is, one, I know where the ingredients come from. We use human grade ingredients, so you're not getting any animal byproducts or any, second quality ingredients, which sometimes does come in pet food. So that's one thing. We also don't use preservatives. I use a dehydration process, trade secret in my world. We use big commercial dehydrators to dehydrate the product. So they're hard and crunchy. We don't make any soft treats because it's hard to do without preservatives. But for the dogs that have severe allergies, we do make an allergy treat. So it has no corn, wheat, sugar, dairy, or eggs in it. And it is with a rye and rice flour. So it's one of those treats. It's just enough to stick together, but yet you can still spoil your dog if they've got allergies. Most of our treats are made with a whole wheat flour, which is, again, one of those things that where it's a natural product, it's a lot easier on their stomachs. There's not, the wheat hasn't been processed and other chemicals, they're bleached and stuff. So that makes a big difference on the healthy product that they're getting.
Absolutely. Yes. So I see you have about 4 or 5 different options here. Do you want to share with our attendees here what you have?
So these are some of our 8-ounce bags. So this is our peanut butter teddy bear. So our peanut butter is our #1 product. We actually make it in 4 different sizes. So we've got bones, bears, and big boy bones and giants. So, and I've got some of those I'll show you. When we started the business, packaging did not look like this. Some of you that have been longtime customers realize that this has come a long way too. We used to use these bags and we would hand tie them. Covered Bridge Festival, it was a nightmare because I would have all my friends over for pizza and wine, and we would hand tie bags and then put business cards on them. So we've moved up in the world and we've gone to heat sealing bags, new labels, and kind of made it a more professional, because now we're in about 11 locations, including vets' offices, grocery stores, and boutiques. And then we also do individual treats for some local businesses like Terre Haute Brewing Company, Little Bear Coffee Shop, Zonka's Irish Pub, MJ's Cake and Ice. You can now get one of their snowballs with a pup treat on the top too. So we're doing some fun stuff. These are Good Dog Ginger Stars. We try and find things that would help your dog. Ginger's a natural calming remedy, kind of like for us. If you're pregnant, you drink a lot of ginger ale and stuff. With dogs, this is great if they eat a lot of grass, if they have car sickness. It's not a guaranteed cure-all kind of thing. It's got honey in it. It's sweeter, so it's one of those. That's our #2 selling treat for popularity. Then if you've got a dog that's on a diet, or you have a dog like my other dog, Guido, you can lay a steak and a carrot in front of him. He's going to pick the carrot. So these are our VeggieOs. They're spinach and carrot. We have a lot of customers that have dogs that are diabetic, and they really have to watch what they feed their dogs. So this is a way they can still get a good treat. These are marketed for dogs, but we do sell out at St. Mary's at the farm store, and we've heard several of the students that have horses out there use them as horse treats. We've had them as goat treats and raccoon treats.
Oh,
so,
my goodness.
It's a healthy product that can be used for other animals as well. One of our fun sellers, I'll pull this out of the package, is our 12-inch big boy peanut butter bone. So our giant peanut butter bone. So these we sell a lot during the holidays and stuff. We have them at the farmer's market as well. It's always fun when someone has like a dachshund and it's longer than the dachshund, but they buy it for it, and it makes hilarious pictures for the holidays and stuff. But we do a lot of those as gifts, and also we have gift baskets that have toys and treats in them. These are big boy peanut butter bones. So you get 15 of these in a bag. So it's a little bit more that you can spoil your dog with, but these are for your bigger dogs too, that you want to spoil. And then this is a fun one, and I took these out of the bag. So this is our Hoosier beef treat.
Oh, I love that.
So in the shape of Indiana. We sell a lot of these during Covered Bridge Festival because we have a lot of tourists.
Yes.
They want to take something home for their dog because they feel bad because they left their dog at home.
Right.
So they're like, oh, it's in the shape of Indiana. And so we sell a lot because of that. Covered Bridge Festival for us is huge. We meet a ton of customers, that come back year after year. But that's kind of the hub where it's like you meet a lot of people. They try your product for the first time, and then hopefully they come back at Christmas. I was playing around with some numbers the other night. And for 2019, since Covered Bridge Festival didn't happen last year, I was trying to figure out how many small peanut butter bones we hand cut. All these are hand cut, not by machine. We did over 18,600 small individual bones. That's 140 pounds of just that flavor.
Wow.
That was all hand cut. It's an all hands on deck kind of thing. I mean, I don't have any employees, so it's friends and family that helped me get through those 10 days. So, but it was kind of fun. It was one of those things that you look at and you're very proud of being able to pull something like that off. But then you also think you might be a smidge bit crazy.
Well, I think there is that level of anticipation of the unknown when you are an entrepreneur. And so can we talk a little bit about COVID-19
Sure.
and how that impacted your business, and with not being able to go to your highest grossing events, such as the Covered Bridge, and what was that like for you as a business owner during COVID-19?
Yeah. We were very lucky that the health department here allowed our farmers market to be open throughout the season, because where we were outside. So that helped us a little bit. But Covered Bridge is about 1/3 of our income in that 10 days. And then I also knew that that would affect our holiday sales, because we wouldn't pick up those new customers who had picked up a small bag, took home, their dog loved it, kind of thing. So it was very nerve-wracking, because you're right. You didn't know if, how are your sales going to be? I mean, we were very fortunate to have a good website, and a lot of the customers who remembered our product, remembered our name, could come back and purchase that way. Like, our shipments were up quite a bit. We also increased our local pickup. There was a lot of times, because we have the option on our website to order locally and come pick it up for free. But yeah, it was really kind of scary. I mean, luckily there's government programs that work for everybody. So we were able to apply for the loan through the Paycheck Protection Plan. And it was so nice when they opened that up to everybody, because in the beginning it's like small sole proprietors were kind of left out, and you're just like, what do I do? And so it was great when it opened up, just to get that little bump through to the next year, because the money we make in Covered Bridge helps pay for the licensing for the next year, for the next big events. All that money rolls forward. And yeah, if there's money left in the bank account at the end of the year, that's great. But if not, you put it right back into the business kind of thing. And that's always been one thing with the Barkery, as long as it's making money and self-sustaining, that it was always like, I'm going to keep going with it. So it was really scary as far as that goes, but there's been some great government programs. I mean, right now we're working also with the Small Business Development Office on getting a new website built and stuff to help with our internet commerce. So, there's a lot of unknowns, but it was one of those things that hopefully it's going to pass, and we're going to keep going and stuff. And
Absolutely.
so, events have finally started coming back. People are very hungry to get out and spend money. So, we've been very grateful for that, and glad that our regular customers have hung in there, and now we're starting to get into.
And I think that's one of the greatest things about our community, is that, you are a familiar face at all the local events and things of that sort. And so when we miss those things, we didn't necessarily forget about those organizations who are the tried and trues at all the different festivals and farmers markets and things like that. And luckily we're able to have those still. But you mentioned a really great resource at the Small Business Development Center, and what a gem and a treasure they are within our community. Can you talk a little bit more about your partnership with them and how they've been able to help you as a small business?
So when I started out, I had no clue. I had no clue what I was getting into.
As entrepreneur.
Exactly. It's one of these, I have this idea. What do I do with it? And it's not just, it's not like having a yard sale. You don't just get the money and roll with it. So I went to the Small Business Development Office, like, I'd say a month or two after kind of the idea was born, because I had to find out things. I had to get a tax ID number. I had to be able to deal with wholesale, places and show that I'm a real business so I could get product. So I had to learn about that. I had to get an accountant. I had to learn more about the industry standards and licensing, the regulations I would have. They helped me with market research. Like, at that time, we still had Petco. We had a lot of other pet shops. There was another company that had also opened that was a franchise treat business that had opened, and trying to figure out, do I want to open an actual storefront? Do I want to go with a distribution model? What's the overhead if I do the other? So all of those resources were amazing, because it's free. And I mean, here I am 14 years later, still using resources that they have, because sometimes stuff comes up, or it's like, I didn't know how to maneuver all the COVID stuff because there was so many different, or so much information out there. It's like, what do I do?
Yes,
And
and
stuff.
I think that's one of their greatest resources, of the fact that they don't just help you launch, they help you sustain your organization and your business. And so I'm so happy you mentioned them, because they truly are a gem in this community, and a great resource for anyone who is looking to start their own business or have questions about, like you said, you have an idea, what do I do with it? That's exactly the place to go.
And at the time, I mean, I'm 40 now. I started the business when I was 26. Try being a 26-year-old walking into a bank asking for a loan for a dog treat company. They look at you like you're nuts. Luckily, they pointed me in the direction of a great bank here in town, and I didn't have to have a business plan when I walked in there, because it was a small amount that I asked for to start, and that was really nice. But then going on a few years later, I got my master's of leadership development at St. Mary of the Woods. And my whole thesis was how to grow this business and make it, make it what it is now. I mean, at that stage, I didn't realize that it was going to become my full-time job. It's like I was going in other directions in life at that stage. And, I'm glad that I can look back at that thesis, pull all those resources from that information, and run with it now.
Yes.
So
now, you did mention earlier that you are in 11 locations. Are those local locations, or are those throughout state Indiana?
So right now we're mostly in Vigo County. We've got one in Brazil. As far as that goes, it's one of those things. This year has kind of been, now that we're out of COVID, is kind of a building year and adding more like veterinary offices and stuff. It's easier right now for me to stay because of licensing in Indiana. When I cross the border and start distributing in Illinois, then they have different regulations and different licensing that also comes into play. So it's one thing for an Illinois resident to purchase my product and have it shipped across. It's another thing for me to actually be in a vet's office or a store over there. So again, it's another thing. Every state has different regulations. You're dealing with different taxes. Which, again, great reason to find a good accountant. So you don't have to worry about things like that.
So that actually leads perfectly into my next question. So you mentioned earlier with the VeggieOs that a lot of individuals sometimes use them for horses and goats and things like that. What is the next step for Hallie Hound's Barkery? Do you anticipate, reaching out to having a goat line and a horse line, and then crossing the state line into different surrounding states?
Probably not different products, honestly. I'm pretty happy and content with what we have now, and it takes a lot of time to develop new products. It's not that I wouldn't, but there's a lot of time and cost behind doing that. And it's like, I know what works. I mean, a lot of people ask, well, why don't you have like carob or yogurt coatings? We do a lot of outside events. Those are very temperamental. You have to be perfect on tempering those and stuff. Plus, if I do that, that's another license for me that I have to have it, because it's considered a different product. So, it's one of those things. It's kind of like, if it's not broke,
Absolutely.
Why fix it? So, no, probably not. The biggest thing I would like to do is expand into more veterinary offices and boutiques. It's one of those things. It's kind of like, then that way I never have to chase that dream of having a storefront. In the pet world, you can't just sell treats alone. If you have a brick and mortar business, you have to have the beds and the toys and some dog food company that has, a food product as well and stuff. And that gets really expensive. The nice thing about the pet industry, I've met a lot of great bakers and business owners in Indiana. I've met some in Florida, which their regulations are even stricter than Indiana's. And when we travel, it's kind of like, if there's a dog bakery and stuff, I like to stop and talk to them and be like, hey, this is what I do in Indiana. There's a little competitiveness more in our state than when you travel and talk to somebody. But I mean, we've met great people in Toronto that have, dog bakeries and stuff, and how their industry is up there and stuff. But, it's one of those things. It's like, I feel like I'm in a good place, but we can expand it by reaching out to other things. And I like being in like vets offices and stuff, because it's kind of like, if the vet feels confident with your product, then that helps with your customers and stuff. But it's fun to be in the boutiques and stuff too. It's that spontaneous, oh, I'm out shopping, my dog's at home kind of purchase. So
that's fantastic. Okay, well, I'm going to open it up to anyone who is on the call who would like to ask Stephanie a question. It can be related to specifically about making the dog treats, about taking your hobby and turning it into a business. It can be a variety of different questions, or simply just a comment of whether your goat or horse or dog enjoys her treats. And so I'll open up for any comments or questions. You're welcome to unmute yourself, ask those, and or shoot them in the chat area. I think everyone's quiet. Let's make sure that I have. All right. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Oh, there we go. Okay, so we have Jennifer says, what advice do you have for children or young adults who want to start their own businesses?
Okay. A great program like in our area is the Lemonade Stand Project. If you can get involved in that, it has the basic building blocks for your child to get involved in how much it costs to make a product and how much it costs, you know, that you can just set aside and save, or if you want to donate. It teaches them those building blocks. That's a great project. If you're a young adult, I would say start researching the industry that you're interested in. That's been the most valuable thing, is knowing what I'm selling, knowing the people I'm selling to. You know, if you're going into a clothing business or hair tie industry or something, you need to know the types of hair you're working with, or stuff like that. And like my big thing, I laugh, I have a small dog library at home because it's like I have so many books on different types of dogs, different breeds, nutrition values, fun dog stories, you know. So find other things that are connected with that industry, and then it makes you stronger when you do go out and sell your product, or you're going to talk to a bank. They don't look at you like you're crazy, you know. Become very strong in the knowledge in your field. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Like the Small Business Development Office, they'll work with anybody of any age, I think, if you have questions. I believe there's still also SCORE in Terre Haute. They're another great resource. There's resources online about how to start businesses and stuff, but especially if you're local here in Indiana and stuff, I would say Small Business Development Office is a great place to start. So
fantastic. And if you have any questions about the things that Stephanie's mentioned today, we are more than happy to compile a list of resources for you. That's what we do here at the library, is we connect individuals with areas they're looking to be connected with. So if you have any questions about specific areas she's mentioned, we're happy to follow up with you and let you know the answer to your questions. So it looks like we have some more. So let's get to those questions. It says, do you deal with distributors? And if so, how do you get them to work with you when you are a new company without a storefront currently?
Honestly, what I do is I walk in their door. I am the distributor. So I walk in that vet's office and say, this is the product I have. Here's the samples I have. You know, same way with groomers or whatever. It's like, this is what I have. Here's some samples. Try it with your clients. You know, sometimes you'll get lucky. They'll purchase right away. Other times it may take 3 or 4 months. You just have to kind of follow up with them. And sell your product, pitch yourself. There are companies that you can distribute through that then distribute your product. That's the middleman. I mean, I like taking that middleman out because I want the most amount of money that I possibly can get. We do have our products on Amazon, and I'll be honest, it's on there. We don't sell a lot through Amazon. So this is our half-pound bag. It's $7, and then you pay $7 plus shipping on Amazon. I get about $1 back of that. So it's more of a name recognition kind of thing. We do see a lot of our customers, like if they do purchase on Amazon, then they will go directly to us and purchase from our website afterwards, which really helps. And we put like some extra labeling and stuff in those Amazon packages when they go out that, you know, check out our website. Here's a coupon for a discount to kind of drive them to us. So we can make a little bit more. But yeah, if you can go out and physically distribute that product, or even ship a box of, you know, product to somebody, it's going to save you money in the long run. So it's a little more legwork, but
Yes.
it's worth it.
Wonderful. Okay, next question. Sorry if I missed this. Do you have employees that help make the product, or do you make it all yourself?
Make it all myself. No employees. Around cover bridge time, I do sucker my family members into helping. I've learned quickly that my husband just can't touch the treats and needs to be out of the kitchen. He helps with packaging and some of my labeling and stuff like that. But like my mom and her partner and my mother-in-law and father-in-law have been great help. Sometimes at Covered Bridge Festival, you'll see family members running our booth because I'm in the kitchen baking. It's very hard not to have employees, but it's very hard to have employees. Baking is a science, and it's one of those things you have to be pretty precise in your measurements. I am a weather hawk when it comes to baking because I have to know what the pressure's like, if it's going to rain, if we're having good weather, because some of the products bubble when you bake them or they rise funny. So after 14 years, it's like, I know the feel of my product. It's hard to bring somebody else in and show them how to make the product. But there is a stage that it may get to the stage that I have to stop being the control freak and get more help as the business grows.
Sure. I do think though that's what makes a quality product is, and that's what's special about small businesses is the fact that you have that oversight of the individual who is watching the barometric pressure to see, it's not a good day to bake today. But I do want to make a comment too, as you're just talking about how you broke your friends and family in. At the beginning of this conversation, you were mentioning how you had been a baker before, and your family always enjoyed time in the kitchen together. So I think it's interesting how it started as when you were younger, making those memories in the kitchen with human food, and now you're making those memories in a business for your family to enjoy as well. While they may not be your employees, family is family. And it's great to enjoy those memories to help you and your family succeed. And all the different avenues that you're exploring.
And my daughter's 4, and she's learning really quick how to count to 15 on, by packaging Big Boy peanut butter bones. She's not quite tall enough to reach the counter at the moment, but, she's interested in it and stuff too, which is really nice. Is hopefully I'm making a business that she will maybe one day want to get involved in and stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Yes. Let's see. Does the Terre Haute Humane Society give you treats?
Treats to their animals.
Give their treat. Yeah, give your treat to their animals. We currently don't have any pets, but I'd love to buy and donate to the Humane Society.
So,
that's wonderful.
A long time ago, I used to be actually on the board of the Terre Haute Humane Society. We have done things with them for like their annual dinner and stuff. We've done pet treats like at their annual dinner. We do have customers that regularly buy treats that will donate them to the Humane Society. Sometimes we do little fundraising events, or we might collect a basket of toys to donate to the Humane Society and stuff. Hallie didn't come from there, but Guido did. So, there's a very soft spot for them too. Guido's 14. So, he's probably, him and Sam now are the oldest taste testers that I have. So I do have a soft spot for the Terre Haute Humane Society. And it's one of those things, like if you do want to purchase products and stuff, you can go to our website. It's just HallieHoundBarkery.com. You can purchase them and select pickup. If you want to send me a note of what they're for and stuff, that's always nice too, because like for the Humane Society, bigger bags are usually better. So then that way they can divide it up around pets and stuff. I already know that come Christmas time, I have a customer who is purchasing enough product for all the dogs in the shelter to have treats at Christmas. So there's some nice things that come with that, and we can always work with customers that are wanting to donate. We can either do like discounts, or we can do stuff through the shelter directly and get them directly to them stuff. But and then as far as dogs go, right now I have 3. So I have Guido, Sam, and Hera. So kind of funny story. Dogs have always been part of my life. I mean, I have baby pictures of me at 9 months with a bucket of St. Bernard puppies. So my parents raised St. Bernards pretty much all of my life and stuff. So it's like there hasn't been a time in my life except a couple years in college I didn't have a dog because they couldn't live in the dorm room, or otherwise there probably would have been. I tried my hand at goldfish during that time, and
Didn't work out so well.
not quite the same. But when I did get a dog, I got Hallie was the first one, and then Vigo came from the Humane Society, and then I had a pit bull Jack Russell Terrier named Rowdy, who was an abuse case that kind of showed up at my house and became part of my group. And then when I met my husband, he had 3 dogs. So we were kind of the Brady Bunch of dogs at that time. He had a Great Dane, a Husky, and Sam, who is a Heinz 57 of all sorts. So we kind of became a blended family of pets. And then when we got married and stuff, we were down to 3. And so Sam and Guido are both 14 now, still great taste testers. And, you know, when I occasionally do mess up something or have extras, they'll eat that. And then Hera is our new young pup to the group, and she's still trying to get the swing of things.
Yes. Does she have a favorite?
Anything she can put in her
Anything.
mouth.
Okay. Guido or Sam have a
So
favorite?
Vito is my veggie dog. So
that's right.
he's
Yes.
the Veggios, and then we also have Banana Bar
Oh.
That's his favorite. Sam is pretty hooked on the Ginger Stars. So yeah, they kind of have their favorites, but they don't turn many down.
Yeah,
So,
I wouldn't anticipate so.
Yep.
Okay, well, it doesn't appear that we have any more questions in the chat. So Stephanie, is there anything else that you would like to add as we wrap up?
I don't think so. I mean, just look for our products around town and in some local vets offices, 𝑯𝒂𝒍𝒊𝒆 St. Mary of the Woods out at the White Violet Center, they have them. You can, if you take your dog and go have a drink at Terre Haute Brewing Company, you can get a treat there. Same way with 𝑯𝒂𝒍𝒊𝒆 and Little Bear Coffee Shop. I'm actually baking more treats for them today. So they'll have some of the giant teddy bear treats up there and stuff. So it's nice to find local businesses that are supporting other local businesses. That's kind of how we've all survived this year and stuff. And you know, we're at farmers market pretty much every Saturday. We are going to take a vacation here coming up, so we won't be there that one. But you know, there's other events coming up. Our new website should be up soon. We'll post other locations. We've got Covered Bridge coming up. We'll have the Hobnob Market in September here in Terre Haute. Then we're kind of excited in November. We're going to Indianapolis or the Lebanon area and start expanding that direction on the Hobnob circuit. So you know, things like that are growing. So
Yeah, that's great.
And I love to meet new people, hear your dog and cat stories, and you know, I could probably write a book about some of those. But yeah, it's fun. Animal people are good people. So
they are. That's right. Yeah. Well, thank you, Stephanie, for being here today and telling your story from Hallie, Hound, Barkery. And for all those who are watching today, if you have a business and you are looking for resources to turn your hobby to a business, then please contact the library. We're happy to connect you with the resources that you need. But thank you for joining us today. We wish you a great day, and we'll see you soon.